Shri Padmatmane Namaham. Devotees, Namaste and Jai Sita Ram. I know it's been some time since we all last met, and I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to our virtual Sunday morning satsang this beautiful November 1st, 2020. I hope for those of you who remembered you got your extra hour of sleep because of daylight savings time. Before we begin with our prayers, I just want to take some time to sing a very beautiful bunch and welcome you all to our virtual Sunday satsang. Keep in mind that when we talk about a mandir is a place in which God can be worshipped. Your home, the tree outside, the place where the devotees reside, all can be the mandir, as long as the environment is set correctly. Swagat sabhajan issa mandir ho, bhakti ki swati ki dhara, sundhara sumadhura gana hamaro, ranjana sabanar nara. Isha saguna nirguna avinashi, mata pita raruyar. Isha saguna nirguna avinashi, mata pita raruyar. Tormai hamavasta sadahi, tormai hamavasta sadahi, antaradhan. Swagat sabhajan issa mandir ho, bhakti ki swati ki dhara, sundhara sumadhura gana hamaro, ranjana sabanar nara. Sanatana Dharma Ram Ram bhave, Ved prakashanakara. Sanatana Dharma Ram Ram bhave, Ved prakashanakara. Kannapakhandha otal khave, Kannapakhandha otal khave, Jnana jagata ujiyara. Swagat sabhajan issa mandir ho, bhakti ki swati ki dhara, sundhara sumadhura gana hamaro, ranjana sabanar nara. Tirtmaya yahan bhut lagawe, punya yahar parisara. Tirtmaya yahan bhut lagawe, punya yahar parisara. Sangati sandhana nima chalawe, Sangati sandhan nima chalawe, Shobha sabhanya mahara. Swagat sabhajan issa mandir ho, bhakti ki swati ki dhara, sundhara sumadhura gana hamaro, ranjana sabanar nara, ranjana sabanar nara, ranjana sabanar nara. At this time, devotees, may we all please clasp our hands and close our eyes. Remember to go ahead and focus your mind in your body. Take a deep breath in and exhale out, and as you exhale, elongate your spine, straighten your body, relax your forehead, drop your shoulders. Focus your mind and all of your energy in between your breath on the feet of Bhagwan as we chant these opening prayers. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamada Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Ishavasyam Idam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Takyena Bhunjeta Ma Krudha Kasya Swindhanam. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahe. Hari Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om. Now we all join together now, devotees, as we commence in chanting the most powerful Gayatri Mantra. Om Magakshe Varade Devi Akshare Brahmo Adini Gayatri Jagat Madhar Vishwayoni Namostute. Om Bhore Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Bharenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Om Bhore Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Bharenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Om Bhore Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Bharenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Hari Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om Prem se bolo Gayatri Mata ki Jai. As we continue on with our prayers for today, devotees, we offer prayers to that remover and destroyer of all obstacles in our life. We offer prayers to Lord Ganesh. Om Shri Ganapate Namaha. Om Jananam Bhutaganadhi Sevitam Kapita Jammu Malachara Bhakshanam Umasutam Shoka Vinashakarakam Namami Viganeshwar Pada Pankajam. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirviganam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada. Om Raksha Raksha Ganadhaksha Rakshatre Lokya Rakshakar Bhaktanam Bhayam Karta Trata Bhava Bhavaranavar. Om Shriman Mahaganadipate Namah. Prem se bolo Ganesh Bhagwan ki Jai. As we continue on with our prayers for today, devotees, we join together as we offer prayers to that Universal Mother and that destroyer of all evils in our lives. As we offer prayers to Adi Shakti and Durga Mata. Om Mahadunduragaye Namaha. Om Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhandra Kali Kapalini Durga Kshama Shiva Dhatri Swaha Swadha Namostute. Jai Tvam Devi Chamunde Jai Putarthi Hardani Jai Sarvangate Devi Kalaratri Namostute. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Vishnu Mayam Dishamnita. Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Buddhi Rupena Samstita. Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Lakshmi Rupena Samstita. Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita. Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shraddha Rupena Samstita. Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti Rupena Samstita. Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Tushti Rupena Samstita. Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Daya Rupena Samstita. Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Matri Rupena Samstita. Namastasye 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 namo namah. Dehi saubhagyam arogyam. Dehi me paramam sukham. Rupam nehi jayam nehi. Yasho dehi dvasho jahi. Prem Shiva Shakti Mata ki jai. We now offer prayers, devotees, to that sustainer of all things dharmic, all things righteous in this universe. We offer prayers, the Lord Vishnu. Om Shri Vishnu Namaha. Om Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Surisham Vishwadharam Gaganim Satrisham Meghavarnam Shubham Om Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Mera Dhyanagamyam Vande Vishnu Bhavabhayaharam Sarvaloki Panatam Om Sashankha Chakram Sakiritha Kunhalam Sapita Vastram Sarasiruhekshanam Sahara Vakshastal Shubhikostu Bhashriyam Namami Vishnu Shirasa Chaturabhujam Namami Vishnu Shirasa Chaturabhujam Om Prem Shiva Vishnu Bhagwane ki jai. And finally, devotees, we offer prayers to that universal Father and that universal Guru. We offer prayers to that destroy of all evils in our life and in this universe. We offer prayers to the Lord Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Harapura Hauram Karunavataram Sansara Saram Bhujagendraharam Sada Santam Hirdayardavine Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami Om Namah Shivaya. Devotees, we offer this next prayer for all those suffering from various illnesses, diseases, injuries, and ailments. We ask them have a fast, speedy, and full recovery. We also offer prayer for those transitioning from this world to the next. May their passage be as smooth and tranquil. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityurmukshyo Mamrutat Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityurmukshyo Mamrutat Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityurmukshyo Mamrutat Om Gangarapate Namaha Om Kartikeya Namaha Om Nandishwaraya Namaha Om Vasukiye Namaha Om Shri Samba Sada Shivaya Namaha Prem Shiva Shankar Bhagwane ki jai. Devotees, I would be remiss in saying that while we were, as a family, performing the last rites for my grandmother, we had Navratri, and there's specific songs and chants and prayers that we can do during Navratri. But we're also approaching another very auspicious period in the Hindu calendar, the calendar of Sanatana Dharma, and that is Diwali, which is the festival of light, the festival of worship, really kind of our new year, which we celebrate a beginning and a new beginning in the coming of the light. So with that being said, before we move on to our Gita reading, I would like to take some time to go ahead and sing the Ashtama Lakshmi Stotram. And if you know it, please join together with me. If you do not know it, well, I can send out a version for everybody at some point. But let us all join together as we focus on worship Mother Lakshmi, and as we sing these songs in remembrance of Navratri and in remembrance of the upcoming Diwali period. सुमनसवन्वित सुन्दरी माधवी चन्द्रसहो दारी हेममायी मुनिगणमण्डित मोक्षप्रदायिनी मण्डलभाषिणी वेदनुते पङ्कजवासिनी देवसपूजित सद्गुणरसानि शान्तियुते जय जय मधुसूदनकामिनी लक्ष्मी सदा पर्यमम् आयुर्परिकालमशनासिनी कामिनी वैदिकरूपिणी वेदमायी क्षीरसमूढभावमङ्गलरूपिणी मन्त्रनिवासिनी मन्त्रनुते मङ्गलदायिनी अम्बुजवासिनी देवगणरचितपादयुते जय जय मधुसूदनकामिनी जय जय मधुसूदनकामिनी धन्या लक्ष्मी सदा पर्यमाम् धन्या लक्ष्मी सदा पर्यमाम् जय वधवर्णनि वैष्णवी भार्गवी मन्त्रस्वरूपिणी मन्त्रमायी सुरगणपूजित शीघ्रफला प्रध्वस्नानविकासिनी शास्त्रनुते भावमायहारिणी पापविमोचिनी साधुजनार्चितपादयुते जय जय मधुसूदनकामिनी जय जय मधुसूदनकामिनी धार्या लक्ष्मी सदा पर्यमाम् धार्या लक्ष्मी सदा पर्यमाम् जय जय दुर्गतिनाशिनी कामिनी सर्वफला प्रधशास्त्रमायी रत्नगजतुर्गपादकी समरुत परिजनमण्डित लोकनुते हरिहर ब्रह्मसुपूजित सेवित तापनिवारिणि पादयुते जय जय मधुसूदनकामिनी जय जय मधुसूदनकामिनी गञ्जालक्ष्मी सदा पर्यमाम् गञ्जालक्ष्मी सदा पर्यमाम् आई भगवाहिनी मोहिनी चक्रिणी रामविर्विरणी स्नानमायी गुणगुणवारिणी लोकहिताहिषिणी स्वारसत्ताभूषितावरनुते सकलासुरसुरदेवमुनीश्वर मन्हवन्दितपादयुते जय जय मधुसूदनकामिनी जय जय मधुसूदनकामिनी सन्तनलक्ष्मी सदा पर्यमाम् सन्तनलक्ष्मी सदा पर्यमाम् जय कमलासिनी सद्गतिदायिनी शानविकासिनी गन्धमायी अनुदिनमर्चित कुङ्कुमधूसरभूषितवास्तितवाद्यनुते कनकधरास्तुति वैभवमण्डित शङ्करदेशिकमन्यपते जय जय मधुसूदनकामिनी जय जय मधुसूदनकामिनी Parama Vibhushana Santi Samarvutahasya Mukhe Navanidhinayani Karimalahadini Kamita Balapradhastayute Jaya Jaya Madhusudhana Kamini Vidya Lakshmi Sada Paryamam Vidya Lakshmi Sada Paryamam Demi Demi Din Demi Din Demi Din Gundu Vinada Sapuramai Guma 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 Sankhaninadha Swadhaya Nute Vera Pura Nitihasa Sapojit Vaidika Maraga Pradhara Sayute Jaya Jaya Madhusudhana Kamini Jaya Jaya Madhusudhana Kamini Dhanya Lakshmi Sada Dhanna Lakshmi Sada Paryamam Dhanna Lakshmi Sada Paryamam Om Prem Samadhavani Om Prem Samadha Lakshmi Mata Ki Jai. Before we commence with our sermon for today, devotees, I ask that if you have a guru, you join together with me as you offer a prayer to our guru. If not, then I ask that you take Lord Shiva or Mother Durga in your mind as universal gurus, as we pray together. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha, Prem Se Guru Gurudev Ki Jai. Devotees, I know it's been some time since we last met. I believe the last time we had all joined together to read from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita as a community and as a congregation was on October 4th of 2020, so about a whole an entire month ago. And at that time, when we were reading, we had just started and finished verses 1 through 15 of chapter 7 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. I know for those of you who were watching when we were doing our virtual wakes for my grandmother, we had gone through a number of verses from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. But in order to maintain consistency with how we're doing things at Mandir, we're going to continue on with where we started, which was verse 15 and 16 of chapter 7 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in which Bhagwan Shri Krishna and Arjuna are talking, and Bhagwan Shri Krishna is telling Arjuna at this time, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, 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 Namam Duksratino Mudha Prapadyante Narahama Maya Pahrita Jnana Asuram Havamasrita Chaturvidha Bhajante Mam Jana Sukrito Arjuna Arto Jichna Sur Artani Jnani Chamaratara Samha Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. And I meant to say verses 15 and 16. In verse 15, Bhagwan Shri Krishna tells Arjuna specifically that those miscreants and fools who are devoid of discrimination, who are the lowest among human beings, whose knowledge has been completely stolen by Maya, by illusion, and who have an asuric nature, do not surrender unto me. So be very cautious and careful of when you are hearing this too, because he's saying those who are devoid of discrimination. And discrimination exists in many ways, many shapes, and many forms. During the summertime, what we noticed was a big separation in the United States about racial discrimination. And for those who have black-colored skin, and the way they've been treated across this country. Now, I want you to take that and understand that with your own culture too. Within Sanatana Dharma, within the Hindu culture, we do tend to do that with people of darker skin. We discriminate against them. You say, oh, you have dark skin. And then judgment is cast upon them. So ask yourself, am I discriminating somebody based off the color of their skin? How light or how dark it is? Am I discriminating somebody based off the religion that they practice? Am I discriminating somebody based off their sex, whether they're a woman or a man? Am I discriminating somebody based off their orientation in life? Am I discriminating somebody based off their age, whether they're young or old? If you are doing any of those things, the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 15 says that you are a fool. It says that you're a fool. I myself am a fool. I have discriminated before in my lifetime. I have. Even with driving. I tell you all the analogies about driving all the time. And I say that person's a dumb driver. They didn't learn somewhere good. So I'm discriminating against that person. Lowest among human beings, whose knowledge has been stolen by Maya. Maya's illusion. Illusion exists in this material world that we live in. We're so attached to the things that are around us that it starts to bug us. I have to say thank you first and foremost to my wife who helped me set up everything today. This beautiful painting behind me is hers. But then I started to get so caught up in the Maya, the illusion, the physical nature of things. I was like, it's gotta be straight. The painting's gotta be straight. So we worked so long to make sure that because of the way the camera is angled and because of the way the painting is, that it's straight. And it looks straight on camera. I don't know if it looks straight in person, but it's straight on camera. So we were so inundated with that physical object that it caused me a little bit of distress, because like I gotta get that, and I started sweating, and you know, everything bad just started happening in my head and in my body. So it's you know, being so attached to these things in the physical world. And if you have an demonic nature, asuric nature, demonic nature, you do not surrender unto me. O best of the Maratha dynasty, there are 4 types of pious men who perform my bhajana, who form my songs, who do everything that worships me. And this is what we talked about when we ended on October 4th. It's those who are artha, who are distressed, who are jijnasu, inquisitive, who are tarti, who seek wealth, and then who are jnani, those who are wise. So those who are distressed, you go to mandir, you worship to Bhagwan, you go to temple, you go to your puja place, you worship God because you're distressed. You want your stress to be relieved. You're inquisitive. You have a question about life. Oh God, why is this happening to me? Oh God, why did this thing have to be cast upon me? Oh God, why did things have to be cast upon my family? So you ask for questions, you ask for knowledge, you're asking for something. Those who seek wealth, wealth is in the form of 2 forms, right? You have spiritual wealth, which is God, please continue to bless me. So you're asking for blessings in that one category. And in the second category over here, you have wealth, which is that monetary wealth. Let me win the lottery. Let me put my lottery ticket here, my scratch off, and bless my scratch off so I can win. I can win millions of dollars. But then there's those who are wise. Those who are wise, the Janani. And what is he saying about those who are wise? What is he saying about these different kinds of beings? He goes on to say in verses 16, 17, and 18 of chapter 7 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Chaturvedha Manjinte Mam, Jana Sukritino Arjuna, Arato Jichna Surharati, Jnani Jamharatar Sabham, Tesam Jnani Nityayukta, Ekam Bhaktir Visisyate, Priyo Jnani Notartam, Aham Sacha Mama Priya, Udhara Sarva Ivatnani, Matam Aste Tasahi Yuktatmam Mam Ivanuttamam Yatim Bahunam Janmanam Ante shraddharyarchitudichyati tasya tasya chalam sharham tam eva vidhanam yaham Shri Krishna sharanam mama Shri Krishna sharanam mama Shri Krishna sharanam mama Shri Krishna sharanam mama. Bhagavan Shri Krishna goes on to tell Arjuna, my exclusive devotee, whose thoughts are always fixed on me, is the best of these, because I am very dear to him, and he is very dear to me. Though these are certainly great souls, I consider the Janani to be as dear to me as my own self. Since his thoughts dwell always in me, he takes determined shelter of me as his supreme destination. After many births of spiritual practice, the person who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a Mahatma, such a great soul is extremely rare. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires and who try to eliminate their distress follow the rules of worship for the particular deva who can fulfill their desires. Thus, being swept away by their own nature, they worship such devas. Whichever deva the fruitive devotee wants to faithfully worship, though I, as the indwelling Antaryami, make his faith in that particular devata unflinching. Unflinching. So taking it back to verse 17 and 18. My exclusive devotee, whose thoughts are always fixed in me, is the best of the best, because I am very dear to him and he is very dear to me. Those who are certainly great souls, I consider the Janani to be as dear to me as my own self. Since his thoughts dwell always in me, he takes determined shelter of me as his supreme destination. Let me ask you all a question right now. Who watching, either live right now or in the future, has a best friend? Who has a best friend? We all do. Usually when you get married, and I can say definitely that Serena is my best friend. I've heard my mom say it 1,000 times. My dad is her best friend. And who are you always thinking about on a daily basis? Your best friend, their well-being, their care. You know, as a parent, you're also thinking about your children, making sure that their well-being and care is taken care of. So he's saying somebody whose thoughts are always fixed. I mean, I'm not saying my thoughts are always fixed on Serena. Her thoughts aren't always fixed on me. There's things in life that we have to take care of. But in this relationship, God wants you to feel like you and him can be best friends. Have you ever thought about being best friends with God? Being best friends with an object or with a manifestation that you can't talk to? It's a weird concept to think about. But what he's saying here is, if you are focused on me, you are very dear to me. It's like we have a best friend relationship. He says, after many births of spiritual practice, so it takes a long time to realize this. I can read this to you now, but it doesn't mean that you are going to fully grasp the concept of it. It's going to take many births of spiritual practice to actually surrender on to Bhagwan, because you know he is the cause of all causes, and that Mahatma is very rare. So if you play harmonium once for the first time, are you going to be an expert at it? No. You continue to practice, you do it over and over again, and you get better at it. Was our first virtual Sunday morning satsang successful? There were a lot of kinks to work out. Audio kinks, video kinks, cables, computers, technology, overheating, internet. There were so many things that we had to work out, but we did it over and over. We continued to practice. And because of that practice, we were able to perfect things. So, understanding that Bhagwan is the cause of all things, understanding that he's everywhere, being wise takes time. Don't think wisdom comes from hearing a pundit telling you words, and don't think that pundit is wise because he just told you that thing for the second or maybe third time in his life. I'm talking about me. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires and who try to eliminate their distress follow the rules of worship for particular devatas who can fill their desires. So rather than understanding God as an all-encompassing being who is everywhere and who provides for us, we tend to focus on specific things and specific devas and ask for certain things, because that's what happens when we're distressed. So why do we worship Lord Ganesh? Why do we go to Lord Ganesh? We go to Ganapati Bhagwan because he is the remover of all obstacles in our life. So the distressed devotee will go to Ganesh Bhagwan to ask to remove distress. If we're in financial need, who do we go to next? We offer prayers to Mother Lakshmi. Mother Lakshmi is the mother of light. She's the mother of wealth. Oh, Mother Lakshmi, bless me. Bless my lottery ticket. Bless everything so I can have as much money as possible. When we're looking for knowledge, we go to the Vedas. We ask questions about our lives because we don't understand some of the things that we have to do. We go to other people and we ask. But what Bhagwan Shri Krishna is saying here is that no matter what, even if your mind is not knowledgeable, it's the all-encompassing power of Bhagwan, and you choose to worship a specific devata because you want that material desire to be eliminated, I, as the indwelling Antaryami, that indwelling great soul, that indwelling great spirit, will make your faith in that particular devata unflinching. So what Bhagwan Shri Krishna is saying here is that if you are going to worship to remove distress, if you're going to worship to seek intelligence, if you're going to worship to attain wealth, and you're going to do that to a specific devata, I will make your faith unwavering. I will make it so that you can focus on that devata to attain the goals that you want. And that's the same thing with anything that we do in our lives. Focus on that task, achieve that goal, and achieve it successfully. There will still be issues and troubles along the way, but you'll still attain it. So no matter what he's saying, if you choose to worship a devata, I will help you. I will help you worship that devata. I will help you worship that devata. He goes on to say, and tell Arjuna a little further in chapter 7, verses 22, 23, and 24. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Satasya Shrandaya Yuktas Tasya Radhanam Ihate Nabhate Chartata Kaman Maye Vavihitan Hitan Antavatu Palam Kesam Adbhavatyalpamedhasam Devan Devaya Joyanti Madhabhaktayanti Mam Api Ayatam Yatim Apanam Manyate Mam Abhuraya Param Bhavam Ajanantu Mama Yavam Anuttamam Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. He tells Arjuna, endowed with such shraddha, he attempts to worship that particular devata and thus attains fulfillment of his desires, which are actuality are granted by me alone. I'm helping you grant that focus, get that focus. However, the fruit attained by such men of meager intelligence is perishable. The worshippers of devatas go to their planets, whereas my bhaktas come to me. So you will go to their planets. You'll achieve what we deem as celestial pleasure once your soul moves from this world to the next. And you will attain the fruit of worshipping such devatas, but that fruit is perishable. Because what do we say that fruit is? It's material desires. Things in this world. We say time and time again, Sanatana Dharma is the path of righteousness in which we attain and build up karma so we can achieve salvation. What are you born into this world with? The answer is nothing. And what do you leave this world with? The answer is nothing. The answer is nothing. So everything that we have now is perishable. It is perishable. All the objects around us are perishable. I'm looking at the things that are around this room right now, and they're material possessions. At some point, all of these material possessions will break. Wood rot, electronics, the drawers may fall off, you know? I mean, things will not always be there. And what happens when they're not there? What happens when they're not working? You work. Right? That's the Guyanese way. That's the human way, actually, of trying to get something to work. It doesn't break, so what do? You smack it. And what happens when you smack it? It may break even further. But at that point, your material desire for this world really caused you a little bit of anger. It's an immaterial, it's not a living object. It could be an iron, it could be my cell phone, but you smack it, you're still inducing anger into the universe. The unintelligent consider that I, who am unmanifest and beyond mundane existence, take birth like an ordinary human being. They do not know the supreme, excellent, immutable, and transcendental nature of my form, birth, pastimes, and qualities. So he's saying here that sometimes people don't recognize why Bhagwan has taken form into this world, and they're not intelligent, unknowledgeable about it. and they think he's just a person. But that can also be extended to the things that we see and have in our lives. Don't you ever believe it's fate that somebody appears in your life at some point for a particular reason? I do. I do. That homeless person that may walk up to you on the street, that family member who may call you, that child who may say something that's completely life-changing. I believe that everybody that comes into our life has a purpose. And what we need to recognize about those people that come into our lives is that they have a great influence on us. It's not just some person. It's not somebody who may have cut you off on the highway or never hold the door open for you. It's a lesson that we all learn. It's something that we impart onto ourselves. He goes on to say even further. In verses 25, 26, 27, and 28 of chapter 7 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Naham Prakhasa Sarvasya Yogamaya Samarita Buddhoyam Abhijanati Alokomam Ajam Avyayam Vedaham Samatitani Vardhamanani Charjuna Maivasyani Chambhutani Mam Tu Vedanatasjana Ichhadvisa Samutena Dvandha Mohena Bharata Sarvabhutani Sammoham Sargeyati Param Tapa Yesantva Antavatam Papam Jananam Punyakaramanam Vedhanvamohanirmuktam Bhajante Mam Bhagavan Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. I am not manifest to all. To the fools I am veiled by my yogamaya potency, by my illusion, by the illusion in this world. Therefore they do not know my unborn and imperishable Swarupa. O Arjuna, I know all the moving and non-moving beings of the past, the present, and the future, but me no one knows at all. O Parantapa, at the time of creation all jivas enter into complete illusion, bewildered by the dualities of happiness, distress, which are born of desire and hate. However, those pious persons whose sins have been eradicated become free from the bewilderment of duality, engage in my bhajana with firm determination. So we're veiled in this world by Maya, by illusion, and that illusion exists in the dualities of happiness and distress, which are born of desire and hate. Happiness is born from desire, distress is born of hate. How is happiness born of desire? What makes you happy in this world? Ask yourself, what makes you happy in this world? Some of you may say going to Mandir, worshiping God, singing bhajans. Some of us may see my brand new iPhone. That makes me happy. My microphones, those make me happy. What we're gonna have for lunch. The dal, the aloo gobi that my mother-in-law had made for us and gave to us. That's gonna make me happy. What are all those things though? Those are material possessions in this world that I desire. I'm desiring dal and aloo gobi. I'm desiring a brand new iPhone. And that's where my happiness derives. My happiness does derive from worshipping Bhagwan. But I'm so focused on the material things in this world that that's where my desire, that's where my happiness is born of. My distress is born of hate. Hate for how imperfect things are. Hate for how some people drive. Hate for how some things sound. That causes me distress. Even though I'm not going to use the word hate necessarily, I'm not going to say the word hate. Know that it's a hate for something that causes that distress. How many of us are distressed by work? I am, quite frequently. Serena and all the teachers I know are very frequently with the new world that we live in which it's social distancing and virtual learning. And I know a lot of the kids in the Mandir. I know a lot of you. For instance, Ishin and Anna and Ashwari and Tejas. I know that you have been wanting to go back to school. So that hate for that virtual learning, the hate for the things that are going around does cause us distress. On the teacher side, they have to plan, remake their lesson plans, do everything new. On the kids side, you have to worry about logging on, trying to stay focused in an environment that it's very hard to stay focused, and trying to navigate around this digital world, which we were never really structured to have. It's funny because I said that one of the things that is a desire that would make a lot of people happy would be to sit in a room and look at a whiteboard. So much more simplistic than having a smart screen or a computer, but it gets so much more done. And that derives the happiness. So if you're free from sin, eradicated from the bewilderment of duality, engage in my bhajana, in my swarupa, you will attain moksha. He ends chapter 7 with Arjuna by saying this. Bhagavan Shri Krishna says this. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Jara Maran Muksaya Mam Asrityayantam Re Brahma Tadvidu Kritsnam Adhatmam Karamachanilam Sadhi Bhutani Daivam Mam Sadhi Yajnam Shahe Vidhu Prayana Kale Vichamam Devi Durayukta Chetasa Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Arjuna tells Bhagwan Shri Krishna, or Bhagwan Shri Krishna tells Arjuna, I apologize. Those who strive for liberation from old age and death by taking refuge of me attain knowledge of Brahma, of the pure constitutional nature of the jiva, and an understanding of the principle of karma, which is the cause of their bondage to the material world. Those who know me as the presiding deity of Adhibhuta, Adhideva, and Adhyajna, and those whose minds are attached to me, remember me even at the time of death, even at the time of death. Take refuge in Bhagwan, understanding what Bhagwan is. Understanding these three words, Adhibhuta, Adhideva, and Adhyajna. So it's strange because Bhagwan Shri Krishna ends with these three unique words. He's saying, take liberation in me, strive to be within me. Understand my knowledge, my jiva, my principles. Understand what karma is and you'll achieve moksha, you'll attain me. But understand me as the presiding deity in Adhibhuta, Adideva, and Adhyajna. So what are those three terms? Adhibhuta, Adideva, and Adhyajna. Chapter 8 starts off with talking about what these things are. Bhagwan Shri Krishna tells Arjuna that Adhibhuta, Adideva, and Adhyajna are things that we will discuss when we come back next week for our virtual Sunday morning satsang. Prem se Bolo Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Devotees, I'd be remiss if we did not sing a beautiful Krishna bhajan before we ended and had our closing prayers. So for those of you who know this, I've sung this plenty of times in the past. I ask that you join along with me. And if you don't know it, that is perfectly fine. I'll sing it a few more times in my lifetime so that way we can all sing it together. But if you know it, you are more than welcome to join along. Hari 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 Sumiran Karo Hari 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 Sumiran Karo Hari Charanar Vinda Uradaro Hari Charanar Vinda Uradaro Hari 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 Sumiran Karo Hari ke kata ho हरि के कथा हो ये जब जहाँ हरि के कथा हो ये जब जहाँ गंगा हो चलिया में तहाँ धन्या हो चलिया में तहाँ हरि 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 सुमिरन करो हरि 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 सुमिरन करो हरि 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 सुमिरन करो हरि 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 सुमिरन करो हरि चरणारविंद उरनारो हरि चरणारविंद उरनारो हरि 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 सुमिरन करो. Forgive me, devotees, I'm having a little trouble with the harmonium right now. Keys are sticking just slightly. Yamuna Sindhu Saraswati Ave Yamuna Sindhu Saraswati Ave Godavari Vilambana Lave Godavari Vilambana Lave Saratirtha Kortata Saravatirtha Kortata Sura Harikata ho ye jahan Sura Harikata ho ye jahan Hari 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 Sumirana karo Hari 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 Sumirana karo Hari 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 Sumirana karo Hari 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 Sumirana karo Hari Charanaravinda uranaro Hari Charanaravinda uranaro Hari 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 Sumirana karo Hari 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 Sumirana karo Sumirana karo Sumirana karo. Going back to chapter 7 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, typically the physical things in this world are what tend to cause us some distress. So when I was playing, the lower keys on the harmonium sometimes get stuck, and my ears pick up on the lower keys, and it messes me up when I'm trying to play and sing along. So my attachment to the physical object sitting beside me caused me distress while I was singing, and it caused a distraction from the actual song. That is a perfect example of what happens and what we have just talked about in chapter 7 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Bhagwan Sri Krishna was sending us all a message, something that we can learn from. Devotees, before we offer our closing prayers, I want you all to take some time to go ahead and take a deep breath in, exhale, and straighten your spine. Go ahead and drop your shoulders, relax, unwrinkle your forehead, remove your tongue from the roof of your mouth. As you continue to breathe, deep breaths in, deep breaths out, focus all of your mind and energy into the area between your brows. Focus on an image of Bhagwan that is most pleasing, most undeviating to you, and join with me as we together chant our closing prayers. Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu Sarvesham Shanti Bhavatu Sarvesham Purunam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Om Sarve Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Santu Niramaya सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ मन्त्रहीनं क्रियाहीनं भक्तिहीनं जनार्दनं यज्ञपूजितं मया देव परिपूर्णं वदस्तु मे पापोऽहं पापकर्माहं पापोऽत्मा पापसम्भवा त्राहि मम पुण्डरीकाक्षं सर्वपापो हरो हरि ॐ त्वमेव माताश्च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्याद्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव ॐ सतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युमामृतं गमय हरि ओं शान्ति 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 हरि ओं. For all of us who have a guru, we offer prayer and bow to our guru. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurue Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurue Namaha. Om Nam Shantir Antariksham Om Shantir Prithvi Shantir Apa Shantir Aushadhaya Shantir Vanaspati Shantir Vishwadeva Shantir Brahma Shantir Sarvegam Shantir Shantireva Shanti Sama Shantireti Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. प्रेम से बोलो गणेश भगवान की जय. प्रेम से बोलो आदि शक्ति दुर्गा माता की जय. प्रेम से बोलो विष्णु भगवान की जय. प्रेम से बोलो शिव शंकर भगवान की जय. प्रेम से बोलो शिव शक्ति मंदिर की जय. प्रेम से बोलो सनातन धर्म की जय. Devotees, with this, we have come to the end of our virtual Sunday morning satsang, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here today. We'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Sorry, I was trying to read some announcements from our president. First and foremost, what I'd like to say to everybody who is watching and who is live with us today is thank you and thank you and thank you again. My family and I have gone through a rough, difficult few weeks. For those of you who do not know, most of you I would hope know at this point, on October 7th at around 1:30 in the afternoon, my beloved grandmother Rampi Ari Budan passed away. And so my family and I were working very hard and diligently to make sure that grandma's final rites were performed as per her requests and in an appropriate nature. And for those of you who tuned in with us to be there during each one of those days, we thank you. For those of you for your words of comfort and physical assistance, for those of you who cooked food, for those of you who were there to support us, we want to thank you. And I just want to thank and be glad and love the fact that I'm part of a community who is there for every member, every single second, every single time, whenever we're there in distressed moments or even happy moments. So thank you all for everything that you have done with us. I do want to say that I do miss every single one of you. I know all of us miss each other, but we are going to continue our social distancing and virtual services through Diwali. So Diwali is occurring on Saturday, November 14th. I believe I have that date correctly. Let me double check. Yes, Saturday, November 14th. And I will confirm the time with you all for our next week's service so that you all are aware. It's either going to be at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock at night. Again, that will be a virtual service that we are performing and worshiping Mother Lakshmi. So for those of you who have your diyas and everything at home, I ask that you go ahead and get those things ready. For puja, you'll need a murti of at least Lord Ganesh and at least Mother Lakshmi. And then you will need some flowers, some fruits, and a diya and some incense. So let me actually put those in order. You'll need some incense. You'll need a diya, which is a light. You'll need no, I said that in the wrong order. Flowers first. You'll need incense and a diya second, and then you'll need your fruits and any prasad that you're going to offer third. For your prasad, it's going to be things that are like dried fruits, raw nuts, so unsalted, unseasoned nuts, lapsi and puri, things to offer for Mother Lakshmi, and we'll join together during that time. I do want to give a quick shout out and thank you to everybody who's joined us. I see that a few people have chatted, so Jay Sita Ram, to Auntie Zandra and Uncle Rajan, to Jorge and to Sandy as well, and to Auntie Valerie, I believe all the way in New Jersey. Thank you all for being here with us. Thank you to everybody else who is viewing. You are more than welcome to chat. We'll give you a shout out. We can have points of discussion as well. But I hope you all have a safe, happy, and healthy week. I know that this week has been filled with a lot of, I want to say destruction and distress for everyone. everybody. Hurricane Zeta came through, knocked down a bunch of power lines, knocked down a bunch of trees. A lot of people are still without power. A lot of people are without internet. I know that's the biggest thing in the world. No internet, no power, because how are we going to survive? But I just hope that and pray that everybody is safe, everybody is doing well, and just reach out to anyone, if you need any sorts of help. But I pray that you all have a safe, happy, healthy week. Bundle up, turn the heat on, get your thick coats out. It's going to be cold. And until next week, thank you all for tuning in. Jai Sita Ram.